Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 26 of FTB Infinity Evolved Expert Mode. Yesterday we set up some reactors, some big reactors, and I wanted to check to see where our fuel situation was. Were we generating more fuel than we were burning? Were we burning more fuel than we were generating? I seem to recall we had 13,000 and change Yellorium. If it's close, I'll look up the exact number. But I'm curious if we have more or less. I haven't looked yet. I hope it's more. Oh boy, that's not only less, that's a whole lot less. In the last day, in addition to what we've generated, we've netted negative 10,000-ish Yellorium. Uh, yeah, we're gonna have to do something about that. We can't keep up this level of fuel expenditure for long. Well, the easiest solution then is to just significantly ramp up production of all this stuff, which is good because we're also going to need to significantly ramp up production of like the various well, I guess not Certus quartz because it's full, but like redstone, mostly just redstone actually, yeah. But we haven't even refilled our redstone drawer yet. So let's start today off, I guess, by ramping up our production of all the various sifted stuff. Right now we have 3 hammerers doing, hammering cobble, 2 doing gravel, and then 1 doing sand. I think we can do better than that. How about another 50 compressed hammers? Should require us to make more steel, huh? Alright then, let's make steel first. So I had a large steel backlog, except that basically all went into our nuclear reactors as well. And I just emptied out our output from our blast furnace here, so there's no more steel to be had. I think it's time to set up something that produces steel a little bit faster than that poor little blast furnace. I'm going to go with Immersive Engineering's reinforced blast furnace for my steel production here. So it's made just the same pattern as a regular blast furnace, except a hopper on top. And then if you put 2 preheaters on the 2 side ports, it gets faster. Alright, so this is, it's still powered by either charcoal or coal coke, so we need something to make that. Let's set up something to make coal coke, I guess. The Immersive Integration add-on for Immersive Engineering has a improved coke oven, and I think it's like a huge multi-block, yeah, but it's very fast. So if we just build all the components for this, that's not too bad. So coke oven walls, heated coke oven walls, and coke oven ports. It should be able to keep up with the improved blast furnace. At least I think they're designed to be the same speed. Unfortunately for me, this version of industrial or immersive engineering doesn't have the projector to like view the multi-block in world, and this thing doesn't really help me differentiate between blocks. I guess these are ports. The lava ones are obvious. So start over. Alright, let's see if I can figure out how to build this. Hey, the lava walls don't give up light. I want a refund. Well, I ran out of blocks as soon as I ran out of places to place blocks, so it's actually not that complicated. It's just alternating slices of coke oven walls and heated coke oven walls with some ports mixed in on the bottom 2 rows. So I have to hit something with this to form it. I assume it's something in the middle. Hey, it worked. Perfect. So I have no clue what ports are input or output, but let's grab some coal and just test it out. Based on my reading of the documentation book, I expect that the bottom 4 ports are all inputs. I assume the mirrored ports are just the same input, and then the 2 side ports are both output. Or maybe one is fluid, one is item. They are not labeled. I guess let's just... I'm going to set up some chests and conduits, and we can find out as we go. Indeed, it does seem like the bottom is the inputs. That's good. I can just hook up like an export bus, or I could just replace this store actually with a interface to supply 1 stack of coal. Now, as for the outputs, so according to the book, which for some reason zooms out my UI when I use it, I guess it just doesn't support the scaling system, whatever. It also says it yields more resources per operation. So I'm going to say, does that mean that per operation we can get more than 1 block of coal coke out? That'd be pretty nice. Unfortunately, for some reason, my genius brain decided to use blocks, so the first operation will be done in about 30 minutes. Earlier, I realized that Ender Fluid conduits don't support channels in this version. Now I'm realizing they don't even support priorities. Jeez. Get your act together, Ender IO. I actually don't care if half of our creosote gets voided because we use like 0 of it. I just need it somewhere to go. So if half of it gets voided from the get-go, oh well. We're gonna be voiding 100% of it anyways. Anyways, it looks like this will not quite take half an hour, maybe like another 3-4 minutes. In the meantime, let's wire up our blast furnace. So it needs inputs in the top, power to the 2 preheaters, and I think it's slag output the back, and ingots or blocks, whatever you put in, output the front. Oh, item conduits don't connect to the side port here. I guess item output has to also be through these ports. We're almost done with our first batch. I guess I'll test it once that happens. In that case, we can probably just input and output out the same set of ports. And that does appear to work. So if I am inserting on brown, extracting on blue, and then that puts our blocks here. Alright, well, works for me. All wired up, and you guessed it, it's a mess, like usual. So the output from the coke oven, I'm just putting a storage bus on it, and then I'm using an interface to supply coke and blocks of iron to the blast furnace, which spits its slag output the back, which also has a storage bus on it, although the slag is basically useless. This is an avoided drawer. Out the front, it spits the blocks, which I am automatically converting into the industrial craft refined iron. It's technically steel, just another name for it. I both like the appearance of this block the most. It looks the most, I don't know, refined. But it's also what all my recipes are already set up for. So it's easiest to not mess with that. The 2 preheaters each consume, 32 RF a tick? So this consumes like 64 RF a tick to make steel. It's basically nothing at this point in the game. Yeah, it's having at it. It's still not like blazingly fast, but it's definitely fast enough, at least in the long term. This blast furnace seems to have a pretty close 1-to-1 ratio for coal coke consumed to blocks of iron. I think it's actually 9 to 10. 9 blocks of coal coke per 10 blocks of iron. But if we assume it to be 1-to-1 for ease of simplicity, then every 10 minutes, it consumes a piece of coal coke. Right, it says 1200 ticks is 10 minutes, and produces 1 block of steel. In comparison to our previous blast furnace, that was every 10 minutes it produced 1 ingot of steel. So this is 9 times faster, which is honestly a bit less than I expected. I might set up a second improved blast furnace later. It seems like the coke oven is faster than one improved blast furnace with preheaters. Wait, I lied. It's less than that. Because of the way the preheaters work, preheaters don't actually increase your fuel efficiency. They just make everything run faster. So it makes your fuel burn for less time, and it makes the process take less time. By my totally non-scientific estimate, I'd say it takes about 3 minutes to make a block of steel, not 10. 10 minutes is what it would be without preheaters. So based on that, then we're getting a block every 3-ish minutes. That's good enough for me, I think. Probably. While we wait for a little bit more steel to craft, let's check on the status of our systems here, our energy consumers. So it looks like the molecular transformer is not running anymore. Either that means it stopped, or it went through the entire stock of glowstone I had queued for it. Wow, I'm impressed. That's a lot of scenario. Let's stash this away. This is probably just simply enough scenario to finish the pack with. We just don't need any more. So then, do we have a whole lot of iridium too? Because with this not running, all the energy should be going into this mass fabricator. And it's definitely running fast. You guys have told me something about using scrap boxes instead of scrap. I'm going to try that out in a second. But yeah, the replicator here is, it's running as fast as the mass fabricator can feed it with scrap. All right. Yeah, let me try replacing this drawer with a compacting drawer and having it automatically compact scrap into scrap boxes. Well, the compacting drawer didn't work, but I'm just using a RF Tools crafter to turn scrap into scrap boxes, which then get fed into the mass fabricator. It does its own thing, and out the other end we have all of our iridium. So, originally I was just going to turn the iridium we made into more ultimate hybrid solar panels. However, I did some basic, math. Who does that? And I've come to the conclusion that using the iridium to make the big reactor's turbines actually produces a lot more power per unit iridium. So I'm just going to save the iridium for that later. It takes about 5 or 6 stacks of iridium to make one turbine. But to make one turbine, you have to turn a reactor from a power reactor to a steam reactor. So the energy gain there from a single turbine isn't that big. It's like 27k for a turbine versus 12k for this. So I'm going to wait until I can make 2 turbines, and then we'll start switching over our reactors to be steam generators. This little reactor I know can power, I think it can power 3 turbines fully and maybe partially a 4th one. The big one can probably power another 10 plus turbines on its own. So I don't know if we'll build that many turbines because they kind of take a lot of space, but I'll figure it out later. Anyways, let's get back to our initial goal, which was to improve our sieving output. Oh, we've got enough steel for 30 auto-compressed hammers, so let's build those 30, and I'll add more later if it's still necessary. Auto-crafting them is so nice though, you just have to watch that number tick up. I'm just going to stack all of our auto-compressed hammers in a big, huge tower like this. For providing them with cobblestone, we're going to need to improve our cobble gen here. I'm just going to jam a bunch more upgrades into it. That should hopefully make it generate cobblestone fast enough to keep up. And then we're just going to need a lot of speed upgrades and everything here as well. So that should get cobblestone distributed to all of these. For power, let's see, what was I doing before? Let's switch this out from, instead of directly supplying the energy to the hammers from logistics pipes, we'll supply. Well, here I can just take this, can't I? Do I need a buffer in between? No, it looks like I do not need an energy cell as a buffer in between. So we'll just wire it up like this, so I don't need to run logistics pipes up the entire length of this. One thing left I want to change on the output side, instead of putting a transfer node on each one, I'll probably just put a retrieval node on the drawer here and stack a bunch of speed upgrades in that one, so I don't need to spread speed upgrades out between, all of these different transfer nodes. Retrieval nodes are made in our quail eating ducks, apparently, what it is today, which means that they can't be automated. So I'm just going to make a whole bunch of them, and I can't imagine I'll use more than 32 retrieval nodes throughout this playthrough. I was halfway to dying of old age, so I figured I should make some of these Enderflex crystals. Hello, game? So that the crafting would go a little bit faster. There we go. Here's the crafting speed before putting down the new Enderflex crystals. It's like a minute per. Ugh. And here it is after. Much better. Alright, all the transfer nodes are swapped over. At least all the ones that should be retrieval nodes are now retrieval nodes. I find it interesting that the ones powered directly by logistics pipes glow. I think it's because the pipe gives off light, and the ones powered by flux ducts or underground conduits or whatever don't glow. I mean, they're functionally all the same. But anyways, this doesn't actually make us more ores. This just makes us more gravel, sand, and dust. So we also need to enlist the help of some number more sieve slaves to actually sieve it for us. It'll take 15 more heavy sieves, 5 for each of gravel, sand, and dust to keep up the current ratio of hammers to sieves, but it seems we're still missing 22 more blocks of steel, and we're actually technically double dipping the steel ingots and steel blocks, so we're missing a bit more than that. That'll take maybe, hour-ish of steel crafting. During that time, then let's work on something else. We can speed up our hammers slightly more by providing them with diamond compressed hammers here. And I think we have plenty of diamonds for that, don't we? Well, in any event, it'll speed up the rate that we produce diamonds. Like, we can just run more sieves, so... How many diamonds do we have? Oh, only 600. Oh, whatever. Let's go ahead anyways and provide them with those diamond compressed hammers. So, I'll probably just have Applied Logistics provide them to... Oh my gosh, it's laggy here. Applied Logistics provide them through auto-crafting, and then we'll distribute them between all however many sieves there are. A nice easy way to keep transfer pipes from connecting to each other is just to put covers in between them. So if you just make a forged microblock saw, you can cut blocks, I think it's like 3 times to get covers. And then these covers, well, they work as covers, but they can go over transfer pipes like this, so that I can run transfer nodes to put the hammers into all these or into all these machines without having to worry about them connecting to these transfer pipes. Just for reference, here's how fast it hammers with 2 compressed diamond hammers, and it doesn't even use 1 durability per operation. It has a chance to use a durability per operation. So yeah, the hammers last like an incredibly long time in here. And for comparison, here is the speed without any diamond hammers. It's at least twice as fast. I appear to have underestimated the number of diamonds it would take to stock all those things with diamond hammers. I have 2 left. So, we are no longer doing this. Thank you. Whoops. Oh well, hopefully I won't need diamonds for a little while. If so, I'll have to come up with another way of getting a lot more diamonds. Apparently the hammers can also be extracted out the sides, so you're going to need filters on your transfer nodes if you're supplying hammers to speed up your hammering. I'd also completely forgotten about stack upgrades. You can dramatically reduce the number of speed upgrades used by using stack upgrades, because it causes it to pull out a whole stack of resources at a time. Unfortunately, these cost 3 diamonds each, which is, well, all the diamonds I have. I don't know how I missed this recipe the first time around, but there's a much faster way of making steel. Iron plus 2 coal coke in an induction smelter just makes a piece of steel in like 3 seconds instead of minutes. This does use, I mean, it uses 2 coal per steel instead of 1 coal per steel. If anyone's counting. I'm not. I guess I'll leave my steel automation up because it works, but I'm just gonna batch craft like 10 stacks of steel ingots, and that'll be enough steel to get me through the immediate term while I let the lower but marginally more resource efficient automation supply long-term demand. The resource efficiency is so marginal, I honestly don't care. With a much faster way of making steel available, we should be able to get these sieves in less than an hour. What a good deal. I had a lot of awful wiring this series. I think this here takes a cake. I've managed to mix transfer pipes, item conduits, flux ducts, logistics pipes, and ME conduits in like the same-ish space, and this all stems from my stubbornness to not tear it all down and rebuild it using all Ender conduits. But now it's like nothing gets to share block space with anything, and it's a total disaster. In fact, these aren't even powered yet. Initially I was just gonna run power up my 1 remaining free side here, except I wanna feed you guys, my sifters, to make you work a little bit faster later. So in order to leave room to feed you, I need to not use up the last side here. So now I guess, thankfully, Ender conduits can still share sides. So if I make energy conduits, I can put energy in the same side I take final product out. But oh boy, this is a wiring mess. With 6 sieves doing each of gravel, sand, and dust, we now have 6 times the sieving output of before. I actually strongly suspect that 6 times output is not enough to keep up with those reactors, because that 13,000 whatever Yellurium I have was from multiple weeks of output, right? And I went through almost all of it in a day. So to get even more sifting output out, we're gonna have to feed you guys. As much as it pains me to feed you, you guys will probably get apple juice, because I have a lot of apples, and it's the only food that I am automatically creating right now from our tree farm. So yeah, I'll set up a system to automatically, basically all we have to do is make an autonomous activator to right click food on you, and you won't accept new food until your old food is used up. And it looks like apple juice gives you a 3.75 times speed boost. That's pretty significant. That means the 6 of you will be effectively working as hard as like 22-ish unboosted sieves. In fact, I suspect my apple production might not even be fast enough for this. By the generosity of my heart, I'm even going to upgrade your food from apple juice to apple smoothies because it gives a 4.5x boost. So these smoothies are provided via an interface here, which then gets distributed to a whole bunch of autonomous, or whatever these are called, autonomous activators, mechanical users. Let's turn you on round robin mode, which will then click the apple smoothie onto the, oh, lag is killing me here, onto the sieve, which should cause them to work faster. Why aren't you clicking it? Right click, not sneaking. Right, that's how you do it. Right click, not sneaking. Hey, feed them. I think it's just a tooltip error. The sieving speed is definitely increased. Hey, look, we got a diamond to match what it would be when it is fed. And like the number of smoothies goes down as expected. So I think it's just when it happens, the sieve doesn't, like the tooltip doesn't update because I wasn't the one that fed you. All right, so I'm going to take a quick second to name a few name tags and get those of you that have volunteered for sieve work in here. This will probably clear up most of the backlog, so if there's anyone else that wishes to slave away on a diet of apple smoothies for the rest of your life, do let me know in the comments. Naming items at 5 levels per rename, it's actually really obnoxious. I had to move my experience obelisk over to right next to my anvil. Luckily, I have basically an infinite amount of EXP, so that doesn't actually matter. Anyways, congratulations to Pendorkin. That's a hammer. Where are my sieves? Enjoy your free diet of whatever smoothies, apple smoothies for the rest of your life. RHK66, 1 Lord Phoenix, 1 Hidden 1. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce this. Yesholer. Sorry for any slaughtering of names. Jack Spy 11, GHB 47, Ricky J, Laser Muffins, Healthy Boy. What? I have 2 Healthy Boys? Wow, who did I jam into here? No, threefold. Got in there. Threefold. Healthy Boy, good luck staying healthy on your new diet. I wish you all the best of luck. J Omega, Sticky Wicket, Torwell, Maritop. And I think that's it. Yep. So, enjoy your new homes, folks. Work hard, work fast, and give me lots of Yellorium and Redstone. Thank you. Now, it's also looking like with the increased sieving speed, our processing here is not fast enough. Luckily, this is very easy to fix. I'll just add a couple more pulverizers and redstone furnaces. Going up to 6 each of pulverizers and furnaces should hopefully be able to keep up with our increased production. If not, it's easy enough to add a couple more. But my hope is that with this amount of increased sifting, our Yellorium supply now can remain stable. So we've gone through almost all of our backlog. We're down to just under 2,000. But if we start, if this ramps up our production a little bit, well, a lot bit, we need like, over 10x production of what we had before. But I think we're at least close to making enough. Convenient side effect is we'll just have a absolutely tremendous amount of all these other resources that will eventually overflow the drawers and cause them to be voided because we don't need them in nearly as high quantity. But that's what it is. Anyways, let's leave this alone for now. I think it's working and good enough. So we'll move on to something else. That something would be passive auto-crafting of some various commonly used stuff, like iron plates, various alloys. I'm sure there's other stuff I'm missing, but let's start with these that I have pinned. So for the iron plates, I just have a block cutting machine, and because we're doing this passively, that is, we're crafting them before we need them, we don't even need to really worry about speed, right? It's okay for it to take a much longer amount of time, because who cares? We have time. For plates, I'll do iron, copper, and tin, and I'll leave room for more if it turns out there's other plates I need in high quantities later. But iron plates, I'll put a storage upgrade on so it holds, 13 times, like 26,000-ish plates. The others will hold about 2,000. That's probably sufficient. So that should cover plates. Let's move on to alloys. most of these alloys can be made in either the induction smelter or the alloy smelter. The alloy smelter is definitely slower in almost all circumstances, but it is an easier machine to automate insofar as it is intelligent about putting items in slots. Like the induction smelter will let you put silicon in both slots, whereas the alloy smelter will not. So generally speaking, if possible, I'll probably make it in the alloy smelter for this. I value the simplicity over the speed when it comes to passive work. And here we have it, a whole bunch more passive processing machines. So first of all, there's just a sag mill making silicon and a macerator making coal dust. It seems our sand supply has dried up. We'll have to look into that. I suspect we are actually just not hammering sand fast enough. But as we move on, we have a alloy smelter making like electrical steel and a bunch of these other things. So the alloy smelter is just configured to pull resources in. Each alloy smelter is being fed from an ME interface. It's pulling resources in from the interface and fitting the final product into a drawer, which is connected to the via a storage bus to make all its contents available. So we have electrical steel, energetic alloy. It currently has 0 energetic alloy because I think all the energetic alloy is then being sent to, after it's being made into energetic alloy, it's sent to the next stage where it's being made into a vibrant alloy. So after the vibrant alloy backs up, then the energetic alloy will start backing up. That's fine. I don't need it right this moment. Solarium, Inderium. Inderium is a 2-step process. There's actually a couple ways to make Inderium, but I think the easiest one is to make it using the 2-step process. So first you make Inderium base in an alloy smelter. This takes very little energy, very little time. And then the next step is to hook Inderium base ender pearls and pyrotheum dust into Inderium ingots. This process takes a tremendous amount of time because it takes 50,000 RF. But hey, Herobrine was here. But for passive processing, slow is generally speaking fine. For this one instance too, I am using a crafting card to make the pyrotheum dust. This is kind of okay because pyrotheum dust is made from 4 resources I will always have in stock, right? That's why I'm passively crafting coal dust here. This craft will never fail. Like by the time I don't have resources to make pyrotheum, something catastrophic has happened. An IC2 reactor has blown up in the base or something. Because of that, I'm reasonably confident to say that if I put a crafting card in here, this crafting recipe will never fail, which means that it will never retry in 1 second. It'll retry if we use some of the pyrotheum, but that only, using it is a relatively sparse occurrence versus 1 second later, which always occurs 1 second later. So as a rule of thumb, if you have to use crafting cards, use it on recipes that will never fail to craft. And this is one of those circumstances. Moving on, I also added a couple more pulverizers and redstone furnaces here. I noticed that we had some dust backing up still when we had 6 furnaces. So at this point, I think all our dusts are being processed. I also replaced the item ducts with item conduits. Item conduits are strictly better than item ducts, especially in circumstances like this where you have a lot of small item stacks coming in and going. What happens with item ducts is that it withdraws 1 item or 1 stack of items at a time, right? But it can only withdraw from 1 stack at a time. So it'll withdraw, 2 items from this stack, 3 items from this stack, 2 items from this stack, 4 items from this stack, because that's all the stack is. And then the logistics pipes will supply new items, and the item duct will go, oh, shiny items, and start over from the front again. It basically always prioritizes items from, slot 1, 2, 3, whatever, and goes in order. Whereas item conduits remember where it left off. So, if it pulls items to here, and then, sleeps for a quarter second, because that's what it does, when it comes back, it'll resume its item pickup from here. So that way it'll tend to clear the inventory out instead of always grabbing the new shinies that are popping in. And that's one of the subtle reasons why I absolutely adore item conduits. They work in a way that is very conductive to giving you the behavior you want. On the output side, it doesn't matter. So I didn't swap out the item ducts. They're still there. But I need... This chest is full. I need some item conduit extraction speed upgrades. Without any speed upgrades in here, it withdraws 4 items at a time, With speed upgrades, it does a full stack, or up to 64 items. If their 64 items consumes less than a stack, then it'll just spill over into the next stack. Anyways, now you kind of see what I mean by the whole, like, it continues where it left off behavior. It doesn't go back and just grab, like, the first stack in the chest like a item duck would do. So anyways, let's take a quick look here. Our Eulorium count is now higher than when we last checked. So I think that means we are now producing more Eulorium than we're consuming. That's very good. That's the state you want to be in with your, passive resources. However, I don't think we can maintain this state forever. First of all, we're going to run out of apple smoothies eventually. In fact, if we check our apple supply, we're down to 9,000 apples, and we started the video with like 26,000 or something, a full upgraded drawer, right? So we're right now consuming apples far faster than we're producing them. All you people are hungry, I guess. And so yeah, once we run out of apples, our sifting speed will drop significantly. Second of all, it seems like we're not actually hammering resources fast enough because some of these sieves are just straight up empty. So I'll probably have to add a few more auto hammers. And third of all, my jetpack's out of energy again, so I'll have to go recharge that. Anyways, that is unfortunately all the time I've got for today. So why don't we wrap up this episode here? We'll come back and address those issues I just mentioned in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.